So now we're going to start looking at your pre-shot routine. Now this is something that can really help us tie in everything that we've done so far. So in terms of the course management, in terms of the alignment, in terms of the club selection, in terms of making and producing the good swing. This is one of the key things that can help us bring all those elements together and repeat it on a consistent and solid basis. So most people will have a pre-shot routine. You might not notice you've got a pre-shot routine, it might not be deliberate, but you might do the same, and you probably do the same thing every single time. From as far as putting your golf bag in the same position, teeing the ball up in the same way, standing, having a waggle, and then whacking at the golf ball. What I want to try and do is make sure that the pre-shot routine that you have is positive for the swing that you're going to use as well. We'll often find that, and a lot of people advocate this position of standing up to the golf ball here and loosening up with a little waggle of the golf club going backwards and forwards this way. But if you find that you inherently have too much wrist hinge, or you take the golf club too much inside, or you flick your wrist too much, having a waggle before you hit every shot is actually just going to increase the ability to do this even more. So in fact you're actually training yourself during your pre-shot routine to make an incorrect golf swing. So I would encourage you to step up to the golf ball, and if you're going to have a waggle and a waggle to release a bit of tension, that's fine, but let's make sure that it's the whole body turning. So we're actually making a little mini rehearsal of the takeaway movement here, not a little flick of the wrist, which is actually going to be detrimental to the swing you make. So rather than waggling the golf club this way with just a flick of the wrist, let's get the movement of turning the shoulders and the hands and the arms all together. So effectively making a little one-piece takeaway to loosen off before we hit each shot. So you'll see in my pre-shot routine there's often a little bit of that freedom of that movement, that little waggle in there. Maybe sometimes for some people it's not even a conscious thing, they don't notice they're doing it, but they just do it to try and keep nice and relaxed. One important part of the pre-shot routine that we need to establish is the fact that the pre-shot routine will also help us line the golf ball up. It should be inclusive of that part of the routine. So I'm actually going to stand behind my golf ball and start my pre-shot routine from here. I look down the target line, I pick out where I want to aim, and then I give myself a little mark in front of me that I'm going to aim towards. So I'm aiming down here at there's a 150 board in the distance, I'm going over the top of that. So I'm going to aim in that direction over the top. So I'd start my routine from back here and look down the line. I'd then come to the side of the golf ball and keep an eye on my target line in the distance, but I've picked out a target that I'm going to aim over the top of when I get to the ball. So that's stage one done. I've got myself on the right line. I'm then going to stand a good distance back from the golf ball and take a couple of practice swings, and I stress a couple of practice swings. I don't want to overdo this and tire myself out, but by the same token I do want to establish a nice rhythm, a nice tempo. I want to establish where the ground is. I want to just feel for just skimming the surface of the grass. If the lie is slightly uneven, maybe not too much of a problem on the teeing ground, but certainly if you're on the fairway the lie might be uneven. You just need to skim the ground to get a feel for the length of the club you're using, the weight of the club you're using, and the little sort of contours on the ground, making sure that we can just skim the level correctly before we then step up to hit the golf ball. Also, if you're actually making changes to your golf swing and making some of the recommendations that we've had earlier on in this series to your golf swing, making some little alterations, it's nice to have a practice swing before you hit the golf ball, just to run over those alterations in your mind, just to run over those little changes, maybe have one or two swing thoughts to work on in your technique. And again, I stress one or two swing thoughts. We don't want to have 10 swing thoughts going around. There's too many things to concentrate on there. That would be the sort of thought processes you need to take onto the driving range with you, but when you're on the golf course, just one or two swing thoughts should be the maximum. And you would think those thoughts through in your mind with your first practice swing. So my thoughts here might be a one-piece takeaway, keep it nice and short, and turn right the way through. Then I'm going to take another practice swing slightly closer to the golf ball without those thoughts. I'm just going to go ahead and rehearse the swing I'm about to create. As long as I've had the thoughts on my first practice swing, they should still be in there for the second practice swing, and the second practice swing nice and loose, nice and flowing, rehearsing the shot I'm about to hit, and then straight up and hit that third swing is going to be the one where you actually hit the golf ball. We don't want to be thinking too hard as we hit the ball. Too many things going on in your mind, it's going to break down the tempo, break down the freedom of movement, and you'll actually struggle to repeat that process over and over again. One last thing really that you can take from the better players, a really good example here, is that they will have a pre-shot routine all the time, and if that pre-shot routine gets broken by anything, particularly on the tour, they've got lots of distractions, you know, people, cameras, mobile phones, the photographers, anything like that. If anything breaks their routine, they don't just look up, shrug their shoulders and carry on. They will step back out of that routine completely and start it over again. And I would encourage you to do the same. If you stand up to the golf ball and one of your colleagues or friends puts you off with something, or maybe, you know, a bird flies off in front of you, or anything like that happens, you have to start that routine right from the start again. Go through the process. Don't let that routine get broken. So I'm now going to go and lead you through the routine that I would normally have to hit this shot. So I'm going to start by walking back, pick out my target line, look straight down the line there, work out where I'm going to aim. Come into the side of the golf ball, a little bit of a waggle there to keep nice and loose. Good practice swing, think about turn, 2 o'clock top, turn right the way through. Another little waggle, another smooth practice swing without thinking too much about the technique, and then straight up to hit the golf ball. One last little waggle to stay loose, and then go ahead and hit it. It's a nice shot, it's gone down the target line. I remain nice and balanced throughout the stroke, and I feel that if I can repeat the pre-shot routine every time, the swing and the actual shot and the result will become part of that repeatable, consistent process. So it isn't just the swing that I'm trying to repeat. I make the whole pre-shot routine and the swing all part of the same process. I can repeat them more consistently for more often, more regularly, and hopefully that'll help you as well.